Hi, so my name is Melanie and I'll be doing an IOC of this extract that is located in chapter 34. So first of all, this passage is about when the content of this passage is when Maya is trying to become a streetcar driver in San Francisco, but she has to face a lot of challenges in her life, especially the fear of being an adult and growing into adulthood, especially being a woman and in her case being a black woman, a woman with colored skin who faces even more challenges than other women and then in comparison to men. So the audience and purpose of this extract is the audience, in my opinion, is teenagers, especially in this extract, since she focuses on the challenges of being a teenager and all the things that people have to go through, especially teens during that moment of their lives, and how everything seems so traumatic and everything seems so scary, but at the same time exciting. So it is that moment in life where you don't know what you want or who you want to be, and you're growing and you're becoming an adult, which is kind of scary. So I think that the audience of this specific extract and the book itself is directed to teenagers, because Maya is an inspiration to many, and it can be an inspiration to many teenagers who think that it cannot go through with life. But since Maya has been through life and been through so many obstacles, she can be as an inspiration to those who feel that they can't go forward in their lives. Also, it is dedicated to Guy Johnson, because Maya Angelou actually dedicates this book, her memoir, to her autobiography, to her son. And also, I guess that the book is dedicated to those who like to read about African American literature, and who like to read memoirs. The purpose of this extract, I think that it is to describe what teenagers go through, and especially what a black woman has to go through in her life. For example, the black female is assaulted in her tender years by all those common forces of nature at the same time that she is caught in that tripartite crossfire of masculine prejudice, white illogical hate, and black lack of power. So I think that the purpose of this extract is to see how women suffer, and how it is really tough and challenging to be a black woman, especially into her teenage years, coming of age. Then the theme, I have identified two themes, which are coming of age and power and control. The theme can be seen as this quote that says, "It becomes easier to die and avoid conflict than to maintain a constant battle with the superior forces of maturity," and that is related to the theme of coming of age, because in order to become an adult, Maya has to go through the teenage years in her life. So I think that it is quite scary, as she mentions here, that it is easier to die and avoid conflict, because she's very scared, and the content of the book, especially in this extract, is how she's trying to become a streetcar driver, but due to laws they won't allow her. So she's coming of age and she's realizing how society has that's the second theme, but power over her and her decisions, and how it affects her life, and how it affects her journey through life and becoming an adult, coming of age from a kid to an adult, and through that, in that point is her teenage years. So Maya must feel really scared, and that will be introduced in the tone and mood afterwards. Another theme I found was power and control, which is how the white society has a lot of power and control over the black people. Another comparison would be how men have power over women, and I think that the power and control that is directly from this extract is how white society has control over, especially over black women, and how they don't have the same privileges as men, black men, colored men, but in comparison to women, they have no rights and no power. So a quote can be used to describe this theme of power and control, and can be the same quote as I explained for the purpose that was the black female is assaulted in her tender years by all those common forces of nature at the same time, and that she is caught in the tripartite crossfire of masculine prejudice, white illogical hate, and black lack of power. The key word being lack of power, black lack of power. I think that it must be really tough in those times being a woman, especially a black one, because all your chances of surviving, all your chances of being treated the same are really low. Another quote can be that is used to explain this theme would be the fact that the adult American Negro female emerges a formidable character is often met with amazement, disdain, and even belligerentness. So when a female American Negro female is actually gets somewhere in her life and passes in all the things that people it reaches a point in her life that is admirable, and that many people thought that black women couldn't reach. They see it as amazement, because they don't think that they're capable of reaching that high, reaching their expectations and reaching their dreams. They find it distasteful and even belligerent, as Maya mentions. So I think that the theme in general of this extract is how black women have it tough. It's 2:30. Sorry. How black women have it tough in their lives, and how it is really hard for women to come of age due to the power and lack of power of black women during those times. Then the stylistic devices that I found in this extract were irony, hyperbole, diction, and metaphors. So the first one is the metaphor that I found in the beginning of the extract, that was to be left alone on the tightrope of youthful knowing is to experience the excruciating beauty of full freedom and the threat of eternal indecision. And it is a metaphor, since she's comparing a tightrope of youthful knowing with a excruciating beauty of full freedom. So she's comparing and describing her feelings through this metaphor. She's using a tightrope of youthful unknowing, and then the feeling of full freedom and the threat of eternal indecision. So this metaphor, in my opinion, is Maya Angelou chose to place it there because it describes her feelings of worriedness and how when you reach teenage years, you become full of indecisions, and you're in a sense free, so you have more liberty, but at the same time you're not free at all. So it is a very complicated stage in someone's life, and very scary, going from a kid with no liberty to a teenager with a little more freedom, but at the same time more decisions and becoming more responsible. Another stylistic that I found was irony, and it's mentioned by this quote that says, take the punishment meted out by the older generation, which had itself confessed to the same crime short years before. And that is ironic because, as I already mentioned, the theme of power and control. It is ironic because the adults that are enforcing this punishments committed the same crime, committed the same actions years before. So I think that is ironic how adults have power over kids, even though that they made the same mistakes before. Another stylistic device that I found was the faceless horror of wavering purpose, and I think this is a hyperbole plus a diction for faceless horror diction, and then a hyperbole of faceless horror of wavering purpose, which was youth. So she's describing a youth as a faceless horror of wavering purpose, and she's using a hyperbole in order to explain her thoughts and how she exaggerates, because teenagers tend to exaggerate everything, and she's exaggerating how her growing up will be full of horror. Yes. Then the tone of mood for this extract, I find that her tone, Maya Angelou's tone, is uncertain, and she feels fear. She's uncertain, she's anxious, she feels fear of what lies ahead of her. What lies ahead of her. It can be seen in many of the quotes that I mentioned already, or in the, especially on the first one that it describes her feelings, or the other quote that says, "Few, if any, survive their teens." So I think that she's very scared and she's very frustrated at the same time, because due to the fact that there are many challenges in order to become a teenager and an adult. So there's a lot of challenges of the coming of age and doing the change of a kid to an adult. There are a lot of challenges facing that change. She feels very, very scared of those changes, and at the same time she feels frustrated that there are so many changes in her life, that she can't be a street car driver, and that she feels very, in a way, insecure, but in the same time she feels stuck. Like she wants to do so many things in her life, but she feels that she's pulled down due to the fact of the power and control that people have, and how the American Negro females are not allowed, in a sense, to become formidable characters. And the mood in the readers, I find it not during this time in life. I find that there is not so much differences between women and men. There are still some differences, but I don't think that there are as much as there were before, especially when there was a lot of racism, which was another theme that I found in this extract passage. But in the book as a whole, there's a lot of racism and discrimination. So what I got from this extract was, I felt kind of identified with her, but I felt a lot of sadness when I was reading this, because I realized how many obstacles she had to go through her life, and how she came to be is admirable. How she went past these obstacles and was a very successful woman. I think it's really admirable. So the characterization is of Maya, since she's the one talking in this extract, and I think that Maya is coming of age. She's scared, and at the same time she's very mature for her age. So she has gone through a lot of things in her life, when her parents abandoned her and left her with Mama and Bailey, and then when Bailey left, and how she had to drive a car in Mexico because her dad was drunk. So I think that she's very mature for her age, but at the same time it is very scary for her, because even though you're very mature for your age and you've overcome a lot of obstacles, there's always that little fear inside of you, because it's normal to feel fear of not knowing what lies ahead, and especially that in order to get there, you have to go through a lot of challenges in your life. So that's my IOC of this extract, and thank you.